Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro RPG. And at the end of another week, and the end of another poll, we've got a clear winner with the Men in Black role-playing game. Now, I didn't think it was going to be too popular, but we'll discuss that at the end of the video when I'll be back talking about the poll and other channel-related stuff, so I hope to see you there. But otherwise, let's go over to the desktop and have a look at Men in Black. So, this is the Men in Black role-playing game from West End Games in 1997. Now, starting off with the cover, I don't like this cover. I think it's very unimpressive. It's very 90s. The effect in the background, the blue spirally pattern thing, which is supposed to be probably the neuralizer flashy pen thing out of the movie. It's very 90s. It's very bland and boring, though. It's supposed to be visually interesting, but I think the cover would have been far better if it was just black. Have a plain black book with the Men in Black logo and the two of them just appearing out of the darkness without this very Photoshop glow effect that's added onto them and the text. It would have been far more effective than this confusing mess of a cover. But let's have a look at the back cover. There, plain black. That's far more stylish. You're part of the mysterious quasi-governmental organization known only as the Men in Black, elite cops policing and patrolling the 1,500 aliens living amongst the people of Earth. You'll conform to the identity we give you. You'll have no identifying marks of any kind. You will not stand out in any way. Your entire image is crafted to leave no lasting memory. You're a rumour, recognizable only as deja vu. You don't exist. You were never born. Anonymity is your name. Silence is your native tongue. You're above the system, over it, beyond it. Can you handle the truth? More importantly, can you handle an Arquillian Megasonic Destructor Ray? You can? Good. We've got a crazy Baltian loose in Manhattan. Take care of it, and remember, no earthlings must know. Men in Black, the role-playing game, features West End Games' easy-to-learn, customizable D6 system for action-packed cinematic play. Just grab a few six-sided dice, a few friends, and help protect the Earth from the scum of the universe. Now, it uses the D6 system, which is fantastic. Without Jedi powers in it and a more low-powered game, the D6 system is cinematic, it's fast, it's absolutely brilliant. They had mainly gone over to using the Masterbook game, but had put it on hiatus at this point, so they used D6. Thumbs up from me, though, because I do love the D6 system. Inside, well, lots of photos from the movie and lots of artwork, which really does match the style of the movies. It's nicely done. Inside, we've got here the sort of top-secret introduction, which has one of the best samples of play I have ever seen. Because, let's look in on a typical game. Hey, who ate all the chips? I brought them. That doesn't matter, they're supposed to be for everyone. I thought we were ordering pizza. Does anyone else smell something? Perhaps we should fast forward a moment or two, and then it goes into the sample of the game. Well, every role-playing game samples the play as they usually do. But I love that introduction bit, because that's gaming. That's you sitting with your pals, complaining about who's ate the snacks, complaining about the slightly damp smell, complaining about the spider hanging from the lampshade, whatever. Chatting about your week's work. That's what gaming is, to me at least. It's a social meeting. But I love that sample of play. Unfortunately, the humour doesn't hold up throughout everywhere. Because we carry on through the introduction, we've got sort of getting ready to play, and then we've got the sections, the chapters laid out as folders with information in them. And we've got the typewritten introductions to each. Very nice. But the goals section here, for example. Men in Black agents have two main goals they must see to at every moment. To protect visiting aliens from humanity, to protect humanity from visiting aliens, to keep the agency secret. Oh wait, that's three goals, sorry about that. Let's start again from the beginning. Men in Black strive to protect visiting aliens from humanity, protect humanity from visiting aliens, to keep agency a secret, to prevent the utter annihilation of the planet Earth. Alright, seems we've run into trouble again. Apparently there are 4 goals, and then they repeat the 5 goals. Hold on now, that's... Alright, Men in Black have 5 primary goals. Oh, let's just skip and say, oh, maybe 12 goals. It's Monty Python, it's the Spanish Inquisition. We have reasons. It's a rip-off, and that doesn't work. The humor they should have been going for is the humor they had in the Ghostbusters role-playing game, with a hint of paranoia about it, because you're working for a big secret agency. There's paranoia in there as well, because you don't know what your bosses are planning. It would have worked, and those were West End games which would have worked so well ripping off. Also in the formatting, you noticed I had a little difficulty reading there because nothing is what it seems is behind the text, outlined in black with black text over it, so it makes it very confusing to read. And we've got these spirals and things. These are only really made terrible by the character sheets, which we'll come on to in a second, because there's so much confusing background, it's very difficult to read. But apart from that, the layout's nice, there's some nice pictures. Keeping the secret, who are the men in black, filling out paperwork, calling for backup. Keeping Men in Black time, because you're on a 37-hour schedule. And then we've got an introductory solo adventure. West End Games liked putting these into their games to let you get the tone of it and let you play some rules by yourself before you went in and played any players. So here we've got your sample character. And as I said, that background is just visually confusing with the text over it. And that's in the character sheets you print out as well as the sample characters in the back of the book. They've all got this horrible pattern, I don't like it at all, where the sections are laid out. So we've got the history section here, titled there in the same color as the pattern in the background, only isolated by a drop shadow. This is very basic Photoshop stuff and not great in black and white printing. Anyway, we've got a solo adventure here, which takes you through, gives you some options. As I said, the artwork kind of suits the tone very nicely. Photographs from the movies, some ideas. So you want to be a Men in Black agent. We've got character creation here. So we go through creating a dossier template or generating a new character, basing character on yourself. What the attributes mean. Character points, fate points, skills, just all the usual things. Body points, because it uses the body point system, which mainly came out with the D6 Space, D6 Adventure, D6 Fantasy after Star Wars, because Star Wars had its own system based on other health levels. We've got the skills, so it goes through. As I said, I do like the artwork. I'm not sure about these little agents that are cartoonishly drawn in, but I don't have a massive problem with them. So we go through the skills, knowledge skills, how to do forgery, perception skills, confidence skills, and charisma skills. Then we've got the equipment and vehicle system. So we've got general gear here, Baltian bodysuit, binoculars, cameras, all the very familiar stuff you'd use, as well as stuff from the movies. So neuralizer, cell phones. I like the carte noire here, the closest thing to an MIB ID card, which naturally gives nothing away. The carte noire is a jet black card that can morph itself into any sort of identification the user wishes. Each carte noire is keyed to the brainwaves of the user and transformed with a mere thought. A couple of well-known examples: FBI badge, Department of Health ID, Blockbuster video membership card, Senior Citizen discount ID, backstage pass, and so on. So it's the telepathic paper out of Doctor Who, but 8 years before Doctor Who used it. I don't remember seeing that in the movie, so it's a really nice idea. If it was in the movie and I've just forgotten, still a nice idea, just based on the movie though. We've got different types of big guns. The noisy cricket, plasma rifles, pocket lasers, proto-cyclotron blasters, an agent reading the National Informer, which has the truth in it. We've got vehicles. They handle scale in a really interesting way. In the Star Wars system, you've got scales, so speeder scale, walker scale, starfighter scale, and all that. So vehicles fit into one of those classifications. In Men in Black, everything has its own scale size. So you can put things without having to categorize them so much. Why is something speeder scale? Why is something walker scale? What changes the difference? You know, is a speeder bike speeder scale, but something like the Lati out of Attack of the Clones, is it walker scale or is it speeder scale as well? Because it's an air speeder, but it's much larger and it can carry walkers, so surely it should be tougher. It doesn't matter in this system because you just allocate a scale dice and it works at its own scale. You don't have to categorize everything. They all just fit in as their own devices. Really like that. Really sensible use of it. Alien naming chart and different types of emergencies, suffixes, so you can create word salad for your games. Then we're on to the rules section. So the difficulty numbers look very familiar if you've seen the Star Wars role-playing game. We've got the wild die, which works in the same way. We've got character points and fate points, which fate points are basically your force points out of Star Wars. Actually, it clarifies here something apparently I've been running wrong in Star Wars for 20 years that I've been running it. Fate points double the number of dice you get to roll. So 3d plus 2 becomes 6d plus 4. Well, I was actually always calculating it out. So 3 pips equal 1 dice. So I'd have taken 3 dice plus 2 to become 7 dice plus 1. But this clarifies that in the d6 system, a plus 2 becomes a plus 4 for that roll. Which is nice. It's nice that they noticed that people were making that mistake, or at least I've been making that mistake, and they clarified it for people. Thumbs up again. Nicely done. Update to the rules. Chases, combat, just all the standard rules sections, combat rounds, attacking and defending, different ranges, nicely illustrated by the alien charging up, so you can see point blank, short, medium, long range. Again, really nice way of doing it. I like that it's supposed to be the different aliens and agents doing paperwork around a table. It almost looks like a gaming session because it's got the chips and all that. Are they actually just playing Men in Black role-playing game themselves? Because they've got dice in their hands. It holds either way. I like it. It mentions somewhere else in the rules that Men in Black and West End Games are the two most important companies in the world, or acronymed agencies in the world. Keeping the game going, cliffhangers. Then we're on to Men in Black assignments, how to create adventures and run them. We introduce the cue cards. Now these are an idea that the Games Master writes up cards which have something you must do or act out or say to get a bonus. So, cue card. Action dialogue. Don't make him come up there, shiny boy. He saw what you did. Must be said to a random civilian uninvolved in the assignment. Reward 1 character point. And you've got take you off your shoes, place them over your ears and scream shaka on my alley pants. Now explain to everyone why you did that. Heal 1d6 body points. And you hand these cards out. People pick them randomly from the selection of cards you've made. There's blank ones here for you to photocopy. And they can play them at any point, doing that action to get those bonuses. Making a bit of acting out and doing odd things to get weird bonuses. I like that. It adds to the randomness. It's not maybe Men in Black, but it's quite an interesting game mechanic. Playtime, flexibility, fudging dice rolls, failures, how to create adventures, and keep in the Men in Black flavour, making sure there's mystery, writing out scripts. Just lots of stuff for a Games Master here. An assignment form for them to fill out after an adventure. Describing the scene, complications, all the standard role-playing stuff, but all nicely laid out as this is an introductory game for people who might have seen the movie but not played a role-playing game. What happens at the end, on to the next adventure, how to make a campaign. And then we've got a recruitment test. This is where it says, unscramble these letters to force acronyms for two of the greatest organizations on Earth, IMB and GWE. So obviously Men in Black and West End Games. Find and circle the alien in the text below. How many surrealist black agents does it take to screw in a light bulb? 1, 2, 14, or fish? Not great jokes, but it's amusing. It's the idea that stupid questionnaires would get handed out and they would have to do paperwork. A bit of a paranoia carryover. We've got the alien species. Now, some of these are from the movie, so we've got the annelids here, which it goes through different sections, giving them names, also known as disposition, and then it details if they've got any advantages or disadvantages, special abilities. The Altonians have gills and retractable claws. The Arquillians, no advantage at all, they're basically just people. And we go through various ones. We've got the Bug, Edgar out of Men in Black, detailing his abilities. Centaurans, Scales, obviously some of these work for the Men in Black agency in the movies. Some of them are aliens that they capture and deal with. But it's all nice stuff here. Frank the Pug, who obviously features in the sequels more than the original movie. Additions to the alien database. Report on known aliens. Classification adjectives. Now, one element I don't like of this is, although some of these are obvious, I don't know what all of these mean. So if I used it just as a random word to use against or to describe an alien, and then I describe the alien and it doesn't include these features, then a player might know that word and just know I'm totally wrong. Exomorphic hirsute, obviously I know, but what does hypsiphalac mean? I know what a felinoid is, but I have to think for a moment to remember that ursid means bear-like. Do I know all of these? What's a caprid? I actually have no idea. I know what bovine is, I know what cephaloid is, but caprid? No idea. If I use that to describe an alien, it would have been nice if they'd had translations so people would know what they mean. And use them more accurately. Special abilities and flaws. And then a very tiny section on using aliens as agents, which it kind of doesn't recommend, because if you have extra abilities as an alien, then you've got an advantage over other players and no one ends up happy. Resentful players are no fun. A nice floppy disk image there, or the save icon as many younger players might know it as. Alien data. Then we've got various alien equipment, so flying saucers, dodgeballs, malfunctionator, interplanetary signaling device, midnight assassins, just lots of different high-tech things. And then we've got a sample adventure at the end. So going through the introduction, a blueprint, the sort of background information that they'll know, and various scenes to act through before we reach the end, where we have some sample characters, character dossiers. I have no idea who the photographs are. I imagine it's the writers of the game who posed for a laugh to get themselves in their book. But it's quite nice. It didn't require much. A white shirt and a black tie. Some sunglasses. I don't think everybody's wearing Ray-Bans, but what the hell. And then we've got the blank character sheet. And an advert for the other books which were coming out, the Men in Black Director's Guide, the Alien Recognition Guide Volume 1, and Men in Black Instant Adventures, all of which came out, although I think they're the only releases for Men in Black. I don't think anything else came out for it. So that was the Men in Black role-playing game, and that was a very surprising winner in the poll, with 39% of the vote, over double of the second place position game. And I didn't expect that at all. I didn't think there'd be many fans of a very obscure role-playing game based on a movie license. But this reveals perhaps a problem with the way people are voting in the poll. That people voted for it because I sounded particularly keen last week on it. And I want to make it clear, I am keen on all of the games in the poll. Going through what's in the poll at the moment, we've got the Dark Tech sourcebook for Dark Conspiracy, a fantastic game. I remember having loads and loads of fun in the weirdness of Dark Conspiracy, playing an alien test subject cyborg hunting for dark elves in the forests of Maine. Just mind-blowingly weird stuff. We've got Conspiracy X, which kind of takes the Call of Cthulhu investigation style of role-playing, but puts it in the X-Files, so you're looking for aliens and conspiracies to hide the truth and all that, rather than cultists to bring gods out. We've got Cyber Generation, which is the third of the 3 sequel games to Cyberpunk 2020. It came out second of those, or maybe it was the first actually, but it takes the cyberpunk background of enhancing yourself through cybernetics and makes it much more part of people, that this has become culturally something everybody does. And I think that's a really interesting direction to explore. We've got Sovereign Stone by Larry Elmore, Margaret Weiss, and so many other brilliant people from TSR and other games companies. This is a game with a pedigree you could not buy. Just so many brilliant minds putting into a fantastic looking game. So I'd love to cover all those. And this week I'm adding the Star Trek 3 sourcebook for the Star Trek role-playing game. Now Star Trek 3 isn't my favourite movie, but it does have one of my favourite scenes in it. In fact, my very favourite with the original cast, the scene where they're stealing the Enterprise. But apart from that, it's probably the movie which introduces the most new technology into Star Trek. Because you've got the Excelsior, you've got the Grissom, you've got the Klingon Bird of Prey. Just 3 new ships amongst so much else. You get to see the proper security armour of Starfleet security. It really starts to bulk out the universe of Star Trek a lot more than the other movies. So the sourcebook is absolutely fantastic in fleshing all that out. So all of these 5 things I really want to cover. So it doesn't matter which way you vote. So you vote to your heart's content, and I will love producing a video on whichever one wins. But anyway, I think I've whittled on for quite long enough, so thank you very, very much for watching. But most of all, as always, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.